Ethiopia, with over 120 million people, is a rising power in the Horn of Africa, but it's landlocked. Since losing its coastline after Eritrea's independence in the 1990s, Ethiopia has relied almost entirely on Djibouti for access to the sea. Over 95% of Ethiopia's imports and exports pass through Djibouti, making it a single point of failure for the nation's economy. Any disruption, political, logistical, or security-related, could cripple Ethiopia overnight. The government pays Djibouti over £1 billion annually in port fees, draining foreign currency and highlighting Ethiopia's lack of options. This dependency gives Djibouti immense leverage and leaves Ethiopia's economic sovereignty compromised. The Horn of Africa is volatile. A diplomatic spat or security threat could sever Ethiopia's lifeline at any moment. Ethiopia's leaders know they must maintain good relations with Djibouti or risk economic strangulation. This vulnerability has shaped Ethiopia's foreign policy, forcing caution and pragmatism in regional affairs. Every decision is weighed against its impact on the Djibouti corridor. Ethiopia is like a homeowner who can only enter through a neighbor's yard, always dependent, never fully secure. This uncomfortable reality has driven Ethiopia's desperate search for alternatives. The country needs more than just another route. It needs options and bargaining power. Only with alternatives can Ethiopia negotiate from strength and secure its economic future. The search for a new gateway has led Ethiopia to look south, toward the Kenyan coast. There, a new hope is emerging, a port that could change everything. The stakes are high. Ethiopia's future depends on breaking free from this single, fragile lifeline. The story of Lamu begins here. On Kenya's coast, Lamu Port is rising as a bold new alternative for Ethiopia. Lamu's deep natural harbor can handle the world's largest container ships, something Djibouti struggles with. For Ethiopia, Lamu offers a chance to diversify trade routes and reclaim economic independence. The port is the anchor of the ambitious LAPSSET corridor, designed to connect Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. Lamu's modern facilities and strategic location could introduce real competition, driving down costs and improving services for Ethiopia. The vision is bigger than just trade. Lamu symbolizes a new era of regional cooperation and African self-determination. For Ethiopia, it's not just about cargo. It's about control, stability, and a future less defined by dependency. Lamu could rebalance power in the Horn of Africa, giving Ethiopia leverage it's never had before. The port's promise is both practical and symbolic, a gateway to prosperity and a new regional order. For a fiercely independent nation, the allure of Lamu is undeniable, but can this promise be realized? The LAPSSET corridor is more than a port. It's a transformative infrastructure project. It aims to link Lamu to Ethiopia and South Sudan via highway, railway, and pipeline. The highway is the most advanced, promising faster, cheaper trade by replacing rough tracks with smooth tarmac. A planned standard gauge railway would move bulk cargo efficiently, making Lamu a true rival to Djibouti. The pipeline could one day export oil from Kenya, South Sudan, and even Ethiopia's own reserves. LAPSSET isn't just about moving goods, it's about creating economic zones and integrating three economies. For Ethiopia, this corridor is a lifeline in waiting, a path to a second coast and strategic autonomy. The dream is shared prosperity, with Lamu as the glittering gateway. But dreams require more than blueprints. They need real connections. Is Lamu ready to deliver? By 2026, Lamu Port is real. 3 berths are operational, and the harbor is among Africa's deepest. The infrastructure is impressive, but the port's true value depends on its links inland. Without the completed LAPSSET corridor, Lamu handles only a fraction of its potential cargo. Most activity is modest: transshipment, some livestock exports, and limited road transport into Kenya and southern Ethiopia. The container yard stands mostly empty, a symbol of unfulfilled promise. Lamu is a powerful engine waiting to be connected to the machinery of regional trade. The hardware is ready, but the software, reliable logistics and transport links, is missing. Until the corridor is finished, Lamu remains a magnificent but underused asset. The question is, when will the flood of trade finally arrive? Lamu's biggest obstacle is the missing link, the incomplete LAPSSET corridor. The crucial railway to Ethiopia hasn't even started construction on the Kenyan side. The road network is better, but gaps and security risks in northern Kenya slow progress. Without efficient rail and road, Lamu can't compete with Djibouti's established corridor. Funding is a major challenge, billions are needed, and investment is slow. Bureaucratic and political hurdles across Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan further delay progress. Soft infrastructure, customs, management, cooperation is as vital as concrete and steel. Until these bottlenecks are resolved, Lamu's promise remains just out of reach. For Ethiopia, Djibouti and Lamu represent two very different realities. Djibouti is the established route, efficient, familiar, and fully integrated with Ethiopia's logistics. Its electric railway to Addis Ababa is unmatched for speed and capacity. Lamu, by contrast, is the promise of the new, deeper berths, modern facilities, and the potential for competition. Even as a work in progress, Lamu gives Ethiopia leverage in negotiations with Djibouti. Its location favors Ethiopia's south, opening new economic opportunities and balancing national development. Politically, relying solely on Djibouti is risky. Adding Lamu spreads that risk and fits Ethiopia's strategy of multiple alliances. The choice isn't about replacing Djibouti, but about having options. Djibouti will remain Ethiopia's main gateway for now, but Lamu can grow into a vital secondary port. Two competing corridors could drive down costs and increase Ethiopia's security. The future Ethiopia wants is one of choice, not dependence. Lamu's success would mean real bargaining power for Addis Ababa. The race is on to make that future a reality. Lamu Port and the LAPSSET corridor are more than economic projects. They're geopolitical game changers. For Ethiopia, building ties with Kenya reduces dependence on Djibouti and shifts the region's power dynamics. Lamu offers a cooperative, less contentious path to the sea than controversial deals elsewhere. A completed corridor would give Ethiopia the freedom to choose its trade routes, insulating it from political or economic pressure. Security remains a challenge, with the corridor passing through unstable regions. Success depends on more than construction. It requires peace, cooperation, and sustained investment. If LAPSSET is realized, it could spark economic growth across northern Kenya, Ethiopia, and even South Sudan. For Ethiopia, Lamu is a gamble, but the prize is transformative. A future defined by connection, not isolation. The Horn of Africa stands at the threshold of a new era, if the promise of Lamu can be fulfilled.